Ejiofor. Downhill to keep you on your heels. It's a nice compliment to Phylon Jr.
Ejiofor gets by.
Oh.
Here's Dylan Mitchell. Ejiofor tees up a three and hits. Runner went for the dunk and alley-oop setup. Going to be a turnover right in the floor. Hopkins with the free look. And coming away is Ejiofor. Step through, layup, got it.
I think they're going to have to address Creighton. They're not. I'm not saying they should be one of those teams that runs people down, but to only force 5 turnovers against the
10-year anniversary of that game. And the wildest stat, Syracuse never led in any of the first since. As Ejiofor!
Really big dump down there. There's Darling, who strips it from Graves. Ejiofor!
Hard all night. Goes up against Ejiofor. Against the block. Bombers for the Johnnies. Darling threads the needle. Hopkins, low post. Backs it out to Ejiofor.
With the ball here. Crowd is anxious. Ejiofor goes to work.
On them, maybe force to speed the game up, like there. Look at
Ejiofor. Pen in action to free up Haywood.
8 points off the bench for Evan Haywood, who's taken such a big role this year. Ejiofor spins off the...
Guarded by Terrace Reed. That's going to be the matchup tonight, folks. The 2 big guys. Here's Zuby. 4th turnover for Connecticut. Here's Zuby with Caravan on his boat.
Game as well.
St. John's has made 7 of their last 8 shots. Ejiofor. Outlet. Hopkins head of steam. The lock. Santa. Skipping. Kicking. Zuby. Doobie. Ejiofor facing up now on Reed. 69-49. Zuby. Inside, Mitchell. The Cincinnati transfer. Finds over. Crossover, Mitchell. Cut off. Ejiofor. Power. In a game on the year.
Well, Seton Hall shoots at about 30%. Only makes about 4 a game. And
Jackson. North Carolina transfer from the Bronx. Inside, the edge, jump hook.
extremely high.
Ejiofor, nice bounce pass. Mitchell reverse layup, bounces out. Ejiofor
down the court before the bigs got back, and now you give up that.
Ejiofor, Sandin, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. Didn't pay attention to the clock. Ejiofor
secure the Big East regular season title. They did it outright with UConn losing to Marquette, now a steal. Ejiofor.
Keep on guys when you go to your bench, and you keep on the defenders, because now you look different, but there's still some pressure from the perimeter now with Sandin in the game.
Ejiofor not late. Ejiofor with muscle.
The big news for the Johnnies is that they've got 2 early threes.
Ejiofor on the back down with 6.
Stop, or at least a defensive rebounding going.
Providence hit 14 threes yesterday. 0 for 3 thus far today. Ejiofor. Ejiofor. They've only taken 5. They want to take well over 20 a game. They make 9 per contest. Jackson to Ejiofor. Ejiofor. Darling. No. Ejiofor. 16-2 on the offensive glass.
Yeah.
You need a play.
Ejiofor picking up 1 in the early going. And they'll outlet to him. Ejiofor ahead of the paddle.
So an area that typically the Red Storm dominate, it's a role reversal.
Ejiofor off the drive. And Elijah Fisher not on the same page. Hopkins to Ejiofor, the step through it. Ejiofor, such a difference when he's been on the floor for St. John's. Entry pass, Ejiofor, what a cap. Hopkins with under 6 minutes to play, leaves it for Ejiofor, off the shot fake, the step through, and the...
But he's got to give Georgetown something at this end. Number 2 in black has to play a little D.
Zuby, dooby-doo.
Same in your game, you make that off the backboard, John. Still counts the same.
Ejiofor got Halaifanua in the air.
It's all about self-correcting when you become an older player as well.
Ejiofor.
I could see it on TV first.
Turnover, the 6 by Georgetown. Ejiofor with 2 hands.
Smart plays. I know you played here last year. I know you're trying to prove to people who you are, but
Ejiofor, Hopkins spinning. No call. Ejiofor.
number 24, they're going to be in a better way.
Shot clock at 10.
There he is.
Ejiofor on his night.
They reverse it. Ejiofor 3. Got 8 turnovers for Villanova. 16 points off those turnovers. Top of the arc. Ejiofor at the start of the season. Ejiofor offensive rebound, pump fake, counted on inside. Mitchell inside, Ejiofor. Jump hook off the window.
You know, you've given him angles multiple times. You've got to stay behind him and make him score over the top.
One that is ranked 15th in Ken Pom efficiency. Ejiofor scores it.
Good scorer for Iowa.
Terrific.
Ejiofor calls his own.
Sometimes good teams play their opponent's record, and sometimes the teams with a bad record play their own.
Santa, Trovic, bounce pass. Ejiofor goes up.
First lead since it was 7-5. Ejiofor gets it deep. Big East. Creighton already took down UConn in stores. Hopkins, gets his own twice. Third time. Here, now Sannon. Sannon steps inside the line. James recovers. Here's Ejiofor now. Big body. Ejiofor with the left hand. That Cooley got when he returned from Georgetown. There's Zuby Ejiofor, and he put Providence in Providence's win at Madison Square Garden. Shocking St. John's.
Fighting inside. Aruse thought he got fouled.
Inside, Ejiofor. Strong bucket by Zuby Ejiofor.
And that's
Against the 7-footer. Pettis holds his ground. Ejiofor. Shot fake, drives, gets a step. Ejiofor.
He can face up and hurt you from down there.
Leachevich, a 41% three-point shooter. Nice pass. Ejiofor.
Carnegie, that means you have to be old and rich to win in college basketball. It's a team that have been put together that hadn't figured out how to win, and I know that sounds weird, but it's a St. John's.
Only a sophomore.
Ejiofor right back into the back. This is what we were talking about a couple of plays ago. Ejiofor, his ability, that should be one he takes personal.
Darling puts it on. Ejiofor. And Mitchell running the offense for St. John's. Ejiofor. Pressure. Really getting up in him. Almost fouled him. Ejiofor. Quick turn to the basket. Jump hook. Back door. Sellers. Cut off. Nicely done by Ball. Zuby. 58-49. Ejiofor again inside. Trying to find the threes. Triple pivot. Jump hook. Darling, feeling it now, trying to create. Zuby.
Last year, that was a 2 seed. Certainly that could be debatable, but I think this group is more talented offensively.
Zuby Ejiofor. Jackson, drop off. Ejiofor. Jackson right at Benson. Missed the left-hand layup. It's boarded by Ejiofor in the putback.
Very solid in their defensive start. Focus, staying in front.
Ejiofor.
Probe dribbling and getting into that paint.
Jackson, good lead for Ejiofor.
Numbers.
Ejiofor, that's exactly away at the free throw line, back rims it, and kept alive. Ejiofor with the offensive rebound.
As soon as the ball went up in the air, Ejiofor said it was his.
Ejiofor gets knocked, finishes. UConn is just a team. You talk about St. John's now going 8-9 deep.
Side, Ejiofor. And Milicevic stands tall again. Ejiofor there.
Make it big. Hines riding this guy out. They don't have to help with the big guy on the floor. That's what he's still stagger, defender.
Into the post, Ejiofor spinning.
To figure out this mixed-up defense of Villanova. Right now they're in the zone.
Shot to 4.
Ejiofor just goes left because he shoots with his left hand, but he's so hard to guard because he can finish with either hand.
Well, that's back.
He's relentless on the glass, particularly on the offensive end. You got to put a body on him.
Good look inside. Great feed.
He's got 16. Sellers has 9 in this half. Finds Ejiofor, and that's advantage. Hopkins hesitates. Now goes Ejiofor. Strong board. And
Villanova's going to play this straight up. They're not going to foul.
shot clock down to 7. Hopkins, Ejiofor in tight.
Downstairs, Zuby Ejiofor will send that thing back.
Hopkins has it.
They're lucky.
Hopkins to Ejiofor. Nice delivery. Shane Holloway doing a heck of a job. Look at Ejiofor. That's personal.
Way with his lateral movement, and you have to recognize that and expose that when you can if you're Creighton.
Ejiofor.
Look more pronounced as well.
First team all hair.
That's right.
Ejiofor still scoreless until now. Ejiofor, heart in the paint. That's an easy running out of time, and they turn it over. St. John's has numbers. Good give. Ejiofor.
St. John's, excuse me, a lot of zone.
Richmond, they are trying to iron out their backcourt with multiple guys that can handle. Ejiofor.
Everyone's got to move. So many times Zuby will get that offensive rebound. Guys just stand still and let him go to work. You got to move.
Now he's got an opening.
Dribbling, you cut in front of somebody. A football running back where you cut in front of the guy who's trying to catch up from the back. Players got to play, but wow, they've just really shown up this half.
Ejiofor. I spit the facts. You tell people why. Ejiofor. Dig against him on a double. Shot clock at 2. It's got to go up. And
Ejiofor gets a look. Triple teamed and finds ring. How about that? Who knew? Nice ATO by St. John's. Lewis with that mid-range jumper. Ties it up. Here's Ejiofor in seating of offense. Ejiofor, moon ball. Now Hopkins catch and shoot. Ejiofor crashing. Second chance, he banks it. Jackson with the left. No, tip no good for Ejiofor. Third chance, yes. And
The junior from Australia with a highlight. Ejiofor with the Sannon to Hopkins inside. Ejiofor. Too easy.
Strikers in soccer, they're always scanning the field to see who's around them. Midfielders do it as well.
Ejiofor. Ian Jackson on top.
trying to make him a little more of a ball handler. Pretty good D on him.
Back three goes. Drop step, spin move.
It started with the Ole Miss game, which was an ugly win, but they won it by defense.
How do you stop a 9-0 run? Hopkins, Ejiofor with authority.
I think you got to go inside the Ejiofor, get him involved.
But St. John's is happy they didn't call it. They're on the break.
It's going early on here. 7-0 run for the Tigers. Ejiofor, good spin him early. Good luck slowing him down. Preseason All-SEC, preseason All-American, Pettiford. So is their guy. Second difference between the shot and game clock here. Ejiofor thought about it. Jab step, he will pull.
Earlier, Iowa State, the ball was hopping around offensively, and they've struggled mightily here as of late.
Hopkins. We've seen Ejiofor with 4 assists already in this game. He's been a playmaker. No double again against Ejiofor.
He's got to look to score right here.
Takes on Jefferson. And he
Off that bounce.
Ejiofor,
Nice cut again.
Space to get that up over Zuby Ejiofor.
He's got 10 points on 4-14 shooting. Mitchell.
Sellers with an early 3. Ejiofor jumps down to Bryce Hopkins again.
Unstoppable Jameer Jones when he can get a full head of steam.
Sannon Seton Hall and Creighton.
11 offensive rebounds for Zuby Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins combined.
Hopkins!
Those 6 they've lost by single digits, John. 10 of their 13 losses in Big East play are by single digits, so they
per game. Cooley, so that opens things up for us. It opens things up for St. John's. Dylan Darling put his...
It is senior night. Emotions are high.
Sandin's just been letting it fly. He is eyeing. No, nobody was on Ejiofor. Sellers by it.
In transition.
Inside, here's Ejiofor. Face it up. Explains baseline. Leaves his feet. Darling, rising fire.
Those 12 threes, Gus, have been under duress.
Back door, Jackson.
In the back, stop and pop.
Inside the slam.
They've played at a game like this, it is surprising.
Shannon surveying. It's this end of the floor that UConn has just stifled the Red Storm. Shannon.
Is they can clean up their mistakes quicker than young guys.
Hopkins, he cleans it all up there at the rim. Inside Ejiofor. Finds the open man. Came early in the second half, was trying to stretch, get on the bike, drinking a lot of fluids. So that 19-minute delay for the fight might have helped him.
Xavier leading as we enter the final minute of the first half. Shannon from the elbow. Here,
Shots that he takes, you got to keep playing. For Xavier, it gums up the process a little bit. No, I think Borovichinen is one of those guys who can play off the ball a little bit more instead of handling it. Look at that.
That's an example of it right there, able to score over Mullins.
Now Jackson, the North Carolina transfer. Inside, Ejiofor. Nice bounce back by St. John's. Sellers. Zuby draws a double. Somebody's open. Shannon. Inside off the glass. And he missed the front end. But it's taken away by guess who? Zuby. He'll drive. Leaves it. Mitchell.
Late August, right before classes started. So, like you said, they weren't really expecting him to be a piece of this year's team, but he has been. Kick out. Hopkins. Backdoor cut. Great feed from Ed.
The game specifically for that reason, to slow down Haywood. Even if they don't get a fast break shot, they want to play up-tempo and make it a possession game. Mitchell versus Xavier, the way the players celebrated that win and poured water on them in the locker room, and just the excitement be in strong consideration. They're the best team in the conference, and he is their best player.
Mitchell to the little. Darling was one of the keys to the season for St. John's because of his playmaking. Ejiofor, offensive rebound, and
They're going to say goaltend.
There were hands up there. I didn't know whose. Nice seal and 5. And he's gone for his run. Nice little screen.
Here is Hopkins. Bang.
Villanova showing a little bit of a mixed zone to matchup.
inside that Jack scored
in this second half. Ejiofor, spin move.
Shot fake from Green. Kept his feet firmly on the ground. And the left hand.
Can't abandon that part of it.
Gray, little high-low game into Zuby. That's a great find. The pass was low, but
9 against Utah. So sometimes that is a way of springboarding you into the offseason, but Haywood can really shoot.
East has put it in.
Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass. Until I went to Michigan, and Juwan Howard and Sonny Washington, who was the defensive coordinator.
I think those type of players, you got to allow to take some risky shots as well, especially once they get it going. Ian Jackson. First available shot Harvard is taking because that pressure has stepped up from late in the first half. Hopkins. Finishes. Moving forward, you learn from those situations. Brings you together.
Minute and a half to go in the first half. 6-0, modest little run here by Iona, and here's Salmon, and
Auburn really converging on the ball there. Their help defense been locked in, but you can't lose track of him. Hopkins on the entry. Zuby Ejiofor. Back to Hopkins. Slot three. Yes, sir.
Bucket for Iowa State is a memorable one here. Here's Ejiofor, guarded by Buchanan. He's a handful. Inside. Lead again. Mitchell leaves it for Hopkins. Ejiofor, nice pass, nice finish.
Bit of their matchup zone. They're going to make St. John's prove it over the top with the jumper.
Nice fight. Zuby Ejiofor. And he's going to fire it for three. No, shot fake. Drives it, leaves it. And an assist.
Career points in the regular season finale against Seton Hall. Demery rejected.
I was on the team bus that game after the game.
Jones rejected by Ejiofor.
Marquette leads by two. James. Oh, Ejiofor turns it over. Iona with a steal. Keyshawn Williams and Jones. And they're up 11. St. John's largest lead is 12.
Ball on the drive. Oh, what a block. Ejiofor block.
Even when he's not putting the ball through the nets, he has so much of an impact of setting the table for the St. John offense.
Has not been able to create a shot for himself tonight. Demery, quick block from behind by Ejiofor. With this St. John's defense, it's been tenacious. Reed, block, get light. Clark, hard drive, gets there, and rejected out.
Consecutive season. Think about that, folks. 36-4. Over the last 2 years, down to one. Mila has to heave. Here's Sellers.
Bucket right here would be a message.
Darling really defended Bud Clark well in the first matchup in Madison Square Garden.
Dave McCray, that was St. John's just 1 of 8 from 3, helping their call. Williams goes up, surrounded by Ejiofor and by Hopkins, somehow gets it.
He absolutely is.
He has relished the spotlight.
Oh, wow.
2.5. There another aspect of Zuby Ejiofor's game. Every time you've seen him play, it's like the last time and there are some athletes on this Georgetown team.
Abraham stuffed by
The value of getting 2 feet, maybe not in the paint, but close enough, and then making the play out of it.
and that ball.
Lewis, Kempa, rejected. Because the perpetual movement by the bigs for St. John's make it difficult to find them once the shot goes up.
Not a single one.
UConn only 2 on for the team.
Collins. No.
The Jumbotron.
They don't show the bad ones. Dix draws Ejiofor. Harper kicks. Greer extra pass.
Look at the closeout.
Yeah, Mitchell coming over to help close. Wow. That's contested in the corner. Freeman picks up the loose ball. Freeman, the curl, the step through, the block from.
We're set up for a finish here. Ross on the back cut. Ross in traffic. Ejiofor, too much. Another. Finds James. James. Now Gold, and it's blocked by Ejiofor.
Every game that they have the same importance.
Ilicevic, tough to guard all night. Goes up against Ejiofor.
They try to run something for Mullins. St. John's really pressuring it. Baseline, block. Smith. Clock.
Smith swings it back out to Macklin. He's been really active on the glass, but hasn't got the scoring going tonight. Macklin, pull-up jumper, way.
Double-double guy. You can just put it in the book that he's going to get that.
Ajayi kick. And Kaiser goal.
He's going to have his opportunities.
St. John's opened 0 for 7 from 3. They're 2 for their last 2. As Ajayi is working in traffic.
His father's 900th win. He had no idea that St. John's would win 5 in a row, and number 900 could come today.
Staten McCray walled off by Mitchell, who can guard a guard.
This kid gets to his spot. Clark, nice slip and pass.
But Clark to find great.
Themselves in their biggest hold, down 10. That's their largest deficit.
It's a big possession for the Wildcats. Going on the drought. Oh, great block.
It's been 9 minutes into this one. Back and forth from Hinkle. Robinson carves his way to the pack, leaves it for
Play with the right head on.
Box. High arching off the David Kipfer. Guys like that.
Yeah. I don't think I was born yet, but I'll trust you.
Box. Rejected by.
Oh, wait. They didn't get back. Oh, should have given it
Everton, nice spin, but he's got it blocked by Ejiofor.
both sides. Double drag out top. Mixing his game up. Right, nice block.
Mitchell has that ability to jumpstart this team with his athleticism on the glass.
blocker. Ejiofor down the docket tonight on Peacock. A couple of top 25 teams. One of them here in Queens. Clock down to 10. Brendan Macklin back to the Blue Demons tonight. Down to 5. Macklin, Ejiofor.
It's going to be tough for these Iona players to get to the basket off the bounce. This is one guy who can. Ejiofor. Iona, they'll go 10-11 deep. And here is Sannon with a couple of three-pointers late to beat it. Sabali, and it's blocked. Sabali checked by Sannon. Now Ejiofor picks him up. Sabali, and it's blocked. His three-point range will come more into play. Akametu drives another.
That's why they're such good friends now.
Share that intensity for the game. Lamardi, they didn't call it in 16.
Now they only shoot 71%, John, but I don't care. You keep getting there. That controls the game.
Lamardi was blocked.
There's such thing as a good loss.
Shot clock's at 8. Klafke delivered it to Dia. Dia, the engine of the Ole Miss Rebels. That's why this is a must-win for their trajectories. St. John's preseason top 5. They do not want to be 500. Dia was rejected.
Back cut, Ratai, ping! Lipsy trying to turn the corner, does so, blocked by Ejiofor, and he recovers it.
Right there. You can see why Rick Pitino loves here.
And Ejiofor almost took it away. Demery can't hold. Reed trying to go through with that basket. Seton Hall in dangerous waters. And 2 buckets.
A.J. State McCray.
Be the best official in America, John. I could see it on TV first.
Meeting 128 between St. John's and Georgetown, and it has delivered the goods.
Asking to Hopkins, he missed it, gets his own, and puts it back.
It's been such an issue for Marquette. They are
this environment, a team that beat them, their only loss in conference play, and they have quieted down this big crowd. We're down 9 quickly, came storming back, and now they lead it by 12, and a turnover.
Scoring. And that first half, it was all Ian Jackson. He was 6 of 9 from the field. The rest of the team, 7 of 25.
You would know it well. First time in 4 years, though, for the Pirates. Shane Holloway doing a heck of a job. Look at Ejiofor.
Making them, but they have guys who can knock down some shots, and when you stop short, Creighton is finding out right now, you could be in
Without a bucket. And look at this trap. That is perfect. Rick Pitino just threw it off his shin, and he just gave him a wry smile afterwards. And here's
Who is their starting point guard. So ball handling, something to keep an eye on.
Finley Bizjack did do a decent amount of it last year. That's who
In the league. New Year's Eve. We got everything going here. Then when you're behind these second opportunities, look at Queens with a high-low. Nice play, Zuby.
Oh, he's so confident. He's so pleased with this group. Their attitude, their commitment. You know, only against Auburn, they pretty much got it handed to them, but the other 2 losses are not terrible. And the way that Iowa State's playing, not a horrible loss either.
Store downstairs, shot clock down to 2.
The Red Storm down.
Shot clock's at 5. Store got to the free throw line. It's in 2. They're going to run out of time. Store was able to. Can he get going? Well, Ejiofor